Welcome to Hot Hoops, NCAA Tournament Edition. That's right, NCAA Tournament Edition. So if you missed any of the Q30 sports coverage over the past week, which you'd be ashamed if you did, you'd know that the Quinnipiac women's basketball team is going dancing. It has a matchup with number 5, Oklahoma. That means Quinnipiac's number 12. Jon Alba, Dylan Fearon, Morey, Hershgordon here on Q30television.com and anywhere else you may listen to this. And gentlemen, it's the best time of the year. It's the most magical time of the year. Boomer, Sooner. You couldn't have drawn this one out any better because these two teams are pretty similar, aren't they, Dylan?
Very similar. It's just the makeup. We've got some differences, though. One's a young team, one's an experienced team in Quinnipiac, but just similarities in terms of shooting the ball, what both teams like to do. It's a very interesting matchup as a 5-12 in California.
20-11 are the Sooners of Oklahoma. Obviously, Quinnipiac 31-3, 23-0 in conference play. Now, this is a good team, 13-5 in the Big 12. The Big 12, unless you're talking about the men's side, apparently, isn't much of a pushover. Morey, this is a credible threat for Quinnipiac, isn't it?
Very credible, John. Scoring options 1 through 4 are excellent for the Sooners team. Quinnipiac's really going to have to use their depth. They're going to have the gold rush show up on the defensive end. And on the offensive end, Oklahoma has a lot of big bodies down low. They're going to have to shoot the lights out. Marist, a team from the MAC, defeated Oklahoma last year when Oklahoma was ranked 20th in the country. They shot the ball about 40% from three, 47% from the field.
Quinnipiac has to deal with two scorers in particular, Peyton Little, Kaylin Williams, Little averaging 13.2 per game, 11.9 for Williams. Williams is a force down low, Dylan.
Yeah, of course. She's 6'3". She really dominates inside as a Big 12 force. And this Oklahoma team has really done very well in the conference this year. 9-9, second in the conference. I think it's going to be Kaylin Williams, Peyton Little are going to get theirs. It's can Quinnipiac contain the third and fourth options on Oklahoma?
More, you mentioned shooting. Field goal percentage-wise for the Sooners, about 43% on the season. Shoots the three relatively well, but Joe Bettner, who talked to us a few days ago, said that this team does live and die by the shot, in particular the three. That sounds like Quinnipiac kind of does the same thing too, though.
Oh, it does. But in order for Quinnipiac to win, they have to outshoot Oklahoma. If I'm Quinnipiac, have Oklahoma shoot. If they're going to miss shots, they're going to miss shots. If it's not their day, it's not their day. It's going to come down to shooting the ball, yes. It's also going to come down to breaking the game down into 10 4-minute games, into each of the media timeouts. Those 4 minutes are crucial for Quinnipiac to defeat Oklahoma, and having more possessions and having more offensive rebounds is key.
Let's not forget Oklahoma now. It's their 16th straight appearance in the NCAA Tournament. They're always in the Sweet 16. They're always a 5 or 6 seed. They made it to back-to-back Final Fours a few years ago. They're always in there. They're always in the mix. It's a very experienced young team, if you will.
Well, that's exactly it, Dylan. It's a young team. Quinnipiac, the old rush, as we've referred to, all seniors and a grad student. The Bobcats are going to have the advantage on that end. What I'm looking at is when Quinnipiac goes against Maryland 2 years ago in the NCAA tournament, it gets destroyed on the interior. Not only with rebounding, but it got the Bobcats in foul trouble too. Is that something Quinnipiac has to worry about?
It's a key. Foul trouble. You cannot get in foul trouble. We saw it in the MAC championship game with Boo Abshire as well. If you keep fouling Oklahoma and getting them to the free throw line, that's going to lead to more points, obviously. You cannot foul. You cannot allow second chance opportunities to a team that generally is just better than you, so to speak.
Brian Georges, the head coach of Marist, came out and said Quinnipiac has a BCS power forward / center, Val Driscoll. No, she wasn't great offensively in the MAC tournament, but she averaged about 10 rebounds a game and over 2 blocks a game. She is the difference inside for Quinnipiac if they want to defeat the Sooners.
She's played these bodies before coming over from Michigan. I 100% agree with you, Morey. Let's talk about what a win would do for this program, not just the women, but even the men as well.
Everything. I mean, it's everything for this team. Recruiting. You get better recruits come in, and also in terms of getting crowds. The Hampton area will continue to go see this team play, and just students as well. We've seen students don't really come to basketball games. They really mainly come to hockey games. If this program can win an NCAA tournament game, we're going to see more students come to the games as well.
Finishing in the AP Top 25, regular season games on ESPN, ESPNU, better out-of-conference schedule. People around the country will just know who Quinnipiac is. They will know Trisha Fabry. They will know that she is one of the best mid-major college coaches in the country.
Does it have an effect on the men?
It does have an effect on the men. It puts added pressure. We've talked before. Tom Moore and his squad, 8 years now, they haven't been able to reach the dance. I think they're going to be able to reach the dance in the next 3, 4, 5 years, but it does put that pressure. Everyone is on top of the women's basketball team. They were on top of them 2 years ago. They followed them closely last year. They almost made it. And now this year they break through. Again, they're into it. And the men have to be thinking, we got to get the job done soon.
Making the tournament once is huge. Making it 2 times in 3 years and being in 3 straight conference championship games is so impressive. It puts a lot of pressure on the men.
Pick up a win, that totally changes it.
Let alone 2 different conferences.
Absolutely. Quinnipiac was on the post-game conference stand after beating Marist in the MAC championship game, and Tricia Fabry said the seniors on that team put Quinnipiac on the map nationally. Well, did it put Quinnipiac on the map enough for a first-round win against Oklahoma? I'll start with you, Dylan. Is Quinnipiac going to pull the upset off and move on to the next round where it would potentially face someone like Stanford?
Unfortunately, it's been a magical season, 30-plus wins, but it stops here. Oklahoma's going to get the win, 73-64. It's going to be a close game, about 5-6 points throughout the entire game, and then free throws at the end, you foul, and it just stretches to 9 points. Oklahoma's going to get the win.
John, Saturday is the day Quinnipiac begins their dominance in mid-major basketball. They have what it takes to be the next Marist, to be the next Florida Gulf Coast, to be the next Green Bay. They defeat the Sooners 78-71.
Bold pick from Ma Hirsch at Ma Hirsch. You see that lower third there that had his little prediction? Listen, I think Quinnipiac could win this game. I think these teams are evenly matched. The one thing that we do have to keep in mind is that while they have similarities, Big 12, MAC. And that's not a knock on the MAC by any means, but it's something that does have to be put into account with between size and the skill of the shooting and whatnot. I think Quinnipiac does lose this game. I'll go with the score of 71-64. I think we can all agree that this is going to be a relatively strong scoring display in some way or another, but would not be surprised if Tricia Fabry's team pulls off the upset. I had a chance to talk with Trish, and she said she still thinks that this team was an 11 when all said and done. So if it was an 11, it certainly could pull off a win like this. Any final thoughts heading into the NCAA tournament?
Oklahoma has 2 top 5 wins this season. They just know how to win. They're always in the tournament. And I just think they're just a tougher team inside and just eventually going to get that victory. But it's going to be a great tournament. We've seen 4 12 seeds beat 5 seeds in the women's NCAA tournament in the last 4 years. Anything can happen.
2 things for me. 1, Maria Napolitano, Jen Fay, Brianna Ramos, bigger guards. They will play more. Shayna Earl, Adelie Martucci, a little smaller, a little quicker, might not be.
Do they play in the form of the Gold Rush?
No, they don't. Foul trouble, inside, down low, Jen Fay comes in. Jasmine Martin, Boo Abshire pick up fouls. Brianna Ramos, Maria Napolitano comes in. The other point I wanted to mention is look for that isolation set that Tricia Fabry likes to run. Nicolai Ostergaard posts up a player, and opposite wing Sam Guastella. The whirl and twirl down low, the European moves by Ostergaard, or the kick out 3 for Guastella.
I'll throw a hashtag Euro step lower third right there, so if you want to get that going. Palo Alto, California, it's a neutral site for these 2 teams. Oklahoma 2-3 on the season, something that does work into Quinnipiac's favor. That's all the time we have here on Hot Hoops. For more information on Quinnipiac Athletics via Q30 Television, follow us on social media at Q30 Sports and online at Q30television.com. At Jon Alba SFC, JONALBA SFC. Dylan Fearon _ He's changing things up on us, so that's where you can find
We got a Maroon sandwich.
He put too much fear on at Ma Hirsch. That's all we have for you. We'll see you next time.